Would you explain what your first grade teacher did for you that started you off on this great road you're on?
My first grade teacher was named Mrs. D. Warren. Now, when I was a child, my first 5 years, I had all of the childhood diseases. I survived all of them, but I missed a whole lot, virtually everything of the first grade. I never would have passed, but Mrs. D. Warren, my first grade teacher, came out to our house there in Yazoo City, Mississippi, and she would spend 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 times a week, bringing me up to speed. Had she not done that, I would have failed the first grade. Had I failed the first grade, I would have been drafted out of high school in World War II. I never would have seen the inside of a college door. Born in Alabama, raised in Mississippi, heart of the Depression, it just would not have happened. But thanks to that first grade teacher, I was able to graduate and got into college during World War II. So I've had a lot of people looking after this very fortunate man all of the years of my life.
Daddy? You said that you weren't a good student when you were in school, but that since you got out of school, you have become a great student, and every day you make it a point to learn something. I understand that you read your newspaper and your Bible every day. Why is that?
Well, I want to know what both sides are up to. And I think that is very important. I have read an average of over 3 hours a day for many years, as I've already said, because I discovered early on, the more you know about anything, the more creative you become when you add new information to what you already knew. And that's the reason you will never see me. If I had my briefcase here, I'd show you the 2 books that I'm reading right now. And I've never read a novel. I'm only interested in the truth. How can I teach somebody something that will help them? Some of you know that my mantra is the belief strongly that you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. I believe that with all of my heart. I really do. Always have, always will.
Dad, you like to say that you were in the half of the class that made the top half possible. Sorry, I had to steal your line because I'm holding the mic. But you ended up having another educator take a big interest in your life, even though he had long since quit teaching school. Mr. John R. Anderson, who you went to work for in the grocery store, spent a lot of time correcting your grammar. And you learned so many things. He's the one who taught you that you cannot do good business with a bad man. And tell us a little bit about your job there working for Mr. Anderson and the influence he had on you.
When I went to work there, I was a teller in the grocery store. Now, that's a little unusual job, but it was my job to tell people to move while I swept. And I was pretty good at it, too. Mr. Anderson became my surrogate father. My dad died when I was 5. He and his wife did not have any children. And he started treating me like his son. He had a big farm in addition to that grocery store, and he would take me out there at least twice a month. And I got to hear him talk to the laborers there and directing them in what needed to be done. Then he took me to conventions and treated me like a son. And that began the list of people and people that God placed in my life to guide me through strategic positions of life. I ended up naming my son, who sits here right now with me, after John R. Anderson's name. This is John Thomas Ziglar right there. And so what one man did kind of navigated a lot of other things, and today I have a wall of gratitude. 26 men and women that God placed in my life at strategic times to guide me through the pitfalls that lay ahead of me. I encourage everybody to have an opportunity to sit down, like in a case like this, to have a wall of gratitude, because if you're here, that means you've already had a considerable amount of success. But I guarantee you, had you not had the help you've had, not just from your parents, but teachers, neighbors, bosses, friends, whatever. And when, the psychologists say that this is gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. And when you honor somebody by getting a picture of them and say, you meant so much to me when I was in the 5th grade, or you helped me so much when I entered college, or when I went to work at this company, you took an interest in me and helped me. I'd like to have your picture. I'd like to put it on my wall of gratitude. I can absolutely guarantee you that individual will be thrilled to death beyond anything you can imagine that you found so much success and had so happiness because of what they did for you. When you honor them, they will be absolutely so excited and so grateful, but you will be the biggest beneficiary, guaranteed.
One of the people on that wall of gratitude, matter of fact, the one who gave your foundational training in ethics was your mother. She taught you through little sermonettes. Will you share some of those?
I sure will. My mother only had a 5th grade education, but she knew the Bible. She was very wise. Her favorite little ditty that I've heard many, many times when I was a child, tell the truth and tell it ever, cost it what it will. For he who hides the wrong he did does the wrong thing still. In my adult life and in my career, I've always emphasized trust, because if people trust you, they'll buy from you, they'll support you, they will encourage you, they will do a lot of things for you. But when you ask somebody to help you and they agree to do so, or when they make a voluntary deal without that, you need to really show them just how important they were, because word will get out and your reputation will be golden, guaranteed.
Tell us about the time. You were working for Mr. Anderson, and the man who ran the sandwich shop down the street offered to pay you 40 cents more per hour, and your mama wouldn't let you take the job. Do you recall what she had to say about that?
I definitely do. Mr. John R. Anderson was my boss. He was a man of great faith, an honest man, good and busy in the church and all of those other things. He had a grocery store. I went to work in his grocery store on Saturday before I entered the 5th grade on Monday, and he would take me at least...
We kind of covered that.
Going on the farm to watch his... Okay.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the sandwich shop.
Okay. I have a brilliant memory. Unfortunately, it's very short sometimes. Well, you got to be honest sometimes. And I knew y'all would understand, because a lot of you got problems too. But Mr. Anderson did have a big role in my life. He taught me, treated me like a son. He and his wife did not have any children. Treated me like a son. And that was very important, because that was my first deal in the adult world. And so that did make a big difference in my life.
Let me finish it up real Thank you, Daddy. Well, your mama said that she knew Mr. Anderson, and she knew Mr. Haining, and she knew their good reputation, but she did not know the man who ran the sandwich shop. And it was just too big a risk to let you go